Before we begin, I would like to introduce you to my friend that will be joining the Living in a Conspiracy team. His name's Darag, or Daz for short. I've known him for a very long time. He is a gifted artist and animator, and he's the one that will be providing life to our new characters we will be introducing in this episode. He will also be adding his voice into the mix. That will take a load off of my back on the narrations for our stories, and will be featured in most, if not all, upcoming videos.
Hello everyone, as Alex just said, I am an animator and artist, plus a very avid Irishman. I'm really excited to be a part of this channel, and I can't wait for us to share more. I would also really appreciate it if you checked out my own channel and my social medias, which will be linked in the description below.
Now I know this channel has had a life previous to this, and before I generously created videos for Clyde and his show, but that is a time long since past. I plan to keep focused and hope to bring forth the best content for our current audience and for our newer audience. Right now we are working diligently to get good, well-produced videos out to you as soon as we can. We are preparing for at least posting a video once or twice a month, if time and our schedules permit it. But regardless, I hope you enjoy. I was taking my cousin back home, and she was telling me about how, in her town, there is a local rumor that there is a cult activity at a crazy place called Oculus Anubis. The rumor stretches throughout the Damascus, Portland, Milwaukee area. From what I have heard in hearsay, people in the town talk of a massive statue of the Egyptian god Anubis under a 30-foot archway with an iron gate protecting a slew of underground tunnels and abandoned buildings, and some say it can even be haunted at night. I was excited, so we immediately went there. As we drove up, I was astounded to find exactly what I was hoping for. It was almost otherworldly. I saw cobblestone pyramids between them, a gated pathway ending in a massive alien-like statue. We got out of the vehicle, immediately started taking video. We noticed that a woman was on the pathway speaking on the phone to somebody. As we were admiring the interesting architecture, I faintly heard this woman yell into her phone, "Yeah, there's two of them!" We were very careful not to trespass beyond their gated wall, in broad daylight. At this point, we are kind of nervous, so we get out, get our video, and leave. But the entire time, it felt off, as if this place existed before, hundreds of years ago. As if these altars and statues were here before. I'm not entirely sure, but it was just strange. But anyways.
Welcome to tonight's show, everyone. Have you ever wondered what it would be like to spend $2,519,945? I could only imagine the thought of buying a massive plot of land in Damascus, Oregon, covered end to end in old, forgotten evergreen trees, an ancient Greek prayer fountain, then installing a skew of long underground tunnels connecting the property end to end, and a big beautiful house to put my family in. Also, you know, maybe purchase some concrete replicas of Egyptian gods and put them in cages, because, you know, that's what normal people do. If what I just said sounds strange to you, that is exactly what we have our eyes on in this situation.
We will be showcasing Oculus Anubis and its mysteries. This place has deceived most of everyone who comes in contact with it. The Oculus Anubis story is very captivating at first glance, but the dark underbelly of the family really shows when you dig a little deeper. I want to take you on a journey here that makes sense and accurately portrays my findings. Well, let's first start with Dr. Dean Elton Neal. Dean attended Milwaukee High School, class of '51, where he graduated valedictorian. He went on to Oregon State with a scholarship in engineering and was one of the top 6 students. His interest then moved to medicine, and he attended OHSU Medical School, where he graduated in 1959. He went on to complete his internship and residency in ophthalmology at Los Angeles County Hospital. He founded 2020 Eye Care on March 3, 2003 in Beaverton, Oregon. From the very start, he had high hopes for his eye clinic. He was a man of honor in the beginning of his career. He was devoted and compassionate ophthalmologist, serving the Portland and Gresham community for 52 years. Or what the media and advertising companies he paid for would lead you to believe.
His company was called Eye Care Services, or ECS for short, and was registered on March 3, 2003. Dean was a registered agent soon after the corporation was dissolved on April 30, 2004. Sounds like our friend Dean here has found a cheaper way to get his thrills. So instead of closing, they remained active and continued doing business as 2020 Eye Care. By doing this, it is textbook business fraud, there is no doubt about it. His business was located at 500 NW 20th Street in Grayson, Oregon. What Dean didn't want the public and the government to know was that he was funneling tons of fraudulent healthcare money through a separate company called Oculus Incorporated. On top of that, constantly overcharging his clients, doing unnecessary testing, plus double billing patients for certain tests. His family and the media now paint him as monstrous, manipulative and menacing. His son allegedly said that he was the victim to the hands of daily abuse. That is a big yikes, everybody. Big yikes. You know what? Just gonna say it. A big fucking yikes. Oculus Incorporated was registered on August 24, 2004 as a domestic business operation with the Oregon Secretary of State Corporate Division. The primary e-signature was originally signed by Natalia Neal, Anthony's wife, and was listed as president. Prior to September 27, 2013, Sharon E. Neal was listed as president, secretary, and registered agent of Oculus Incorporated. The business was dissolved on October 23, 2015.
Dean was outed for fraudulent practices by Dr. J. Futterman. Dr. J. Futterman was fired on January 9, 2012, after having worked at the practice for about 4 years. Less than 6 months before, Futterman refused to allow the practice to fraudulently bill health insurance programs for unnecessary tests on patients. Anthony Neal claimed in emails that the firing was due to Futterman's reduced revenue. Futterman became the federal government's initial source about the fraud. And if you could believe it, Dean, that absolute unit, had a son named Tony or Anthony Curtis Neal. He was a manager at 2020 Eye Clinic, and he lives with autism spectrum disorder. Tony was allegedly victimized by his father. He considered himself a puppet in Dean's scheming ways. Should we really believe him in his situation? Should he have been charged for his father's misdeeds? Did he really know he was committing fraud? They're all good questions, but none of them seem to be answered.
Neal's defense lawyer, however, painted a picture in court that told a very different story of the relationship between Anthony and Dean. Price told the judge that Dr. Neal wreaked havoc on his family, abused his wife and his disabled son, was obsessed with his image, driven by an enormous ego and greed. When Anthony Neal reported that he was raped as a child by an acquaintance, the father refused to report the sexual assault to the police because he was concerned it would be bad for his image. Like I said before, big yikes. I'm almost certain I have identified Anthony, but I'm not here to dox anyone, so I just won't say anything about it, but I believe this photo is him today on the left, and this video on the right was taken around 2013 or so. The fraudulent practices took place over the course of 7 years at 2020 Eye Care. At the end of those 7 years, Tony Neal submitted false bills to the public and private health benefit programs, and also conspired to defraud the United States through a family scheme to evade paying federal income taxes while running the eye clinic with his late father, who died from a stroke in May 23, 2015 at the age of 80, before the charges could be laid against him. As a result, he was not able to defend himself in court, and his son will be paying the price on his behalf. Tony is expected to spend about 2.5 years in federal prison for his role in cheating public and private health insurance plans and the Internal Revenue Service out of $2.5 million. Beginning on July 5th, he has to pay back every dime he and his father stole. He spent approximately 1 year and 1 day in prison. Although Tony Neal pleaded guilty to the charges, his defense lawyer Thomas Price contended he wasn't acting on his own will due to his medical issue. Neal was one of the 301 individuals charged with $900 million in Medicare fraud by the US Justice Department.
Over the last 3 days, the Medicare Fraud Strike Force, a joint effort between the Department of Justice and the Department of Health and Human Services, executed a significant nationwide healthcare fraud takedown. Now, this action involved charging or unveiling charges against approximately 300 defendants in 36 federal districts for their alleged participation in a variety of schemes involving more than $900 million in fraudulent billings. This makes this the largest takedown in the strike force's 9-year history. Now, the defendants who were named in these charges include doctors, nurses, pharmacists, physical therapists, home health care providers. They're accused of a wide range of serious crimes, from conspiring to commit healthcare fraud to making false statements, and from bribery to money laundering. They submitted dishonest claims, they charged excessive fees, and they prescribed unnecessary drugs.
So, that was the main story about how the court case went. And all I can really say about the family is that Anthony, Sharon, and Natalia all have to pick up the pieces and suffer for Dean's actions. Sometimes it's almost heartbreaking to hear what the justice system did to Tony, but there was so-called evidence. that he knew right from wrong, but knowing quite a few people with autism in my life, I know that trusting your loved ones and elders always come first for them, for guidance and acceptance. It must have been such a shock for him, if he was truly autistic, losing his father, his money, his life, and his wife for a year and a day, knowing the empire his father built was fraudulent and that he was an actual criminal. I couldn't imagine what Natalia and Sharon went through these past 10 years. Her husband passed, her son went to prison, her neighbors hating her because teenagers keep trespassing on their property, waking up the neighborhood at night due to tweaks and freaks out and about because of the occult-like name this place had been given and the attention that it was given at its peak. But as a content creator, I just need everyone to know that disturbing these people are not the way to go. Showing up on their property uninvited and trespassing their gate, just gonna say, please do not attempt that at all. I do not support it. These people have had a rough go of it these past 12 years, so just leave them alone and let them pick up the pieces. That's all I really have to say about that, and also I want to touch on some other extremely interesting facets of the story. One of the things that really intrigued me about all this when I started is they had a construction going on of a multi-million-dollar mansion, complete with a helipad, tennis pavilion, in Damascus, Oregon. The 35,000 square foot house equipped with underground tunnels that led to his father's home 75 yards away. But according to the rumors, the tunnels are longer and veer off in several different directions, through dark, white drywall tunnels. There are even state documents pertaining to the building of these tunnels.
We have done our best to pull up the clearest video we could find of these tunnels. They are usually behind a white door that leads directly into the ground. We happened to come across some footage of some people possibly entering these tunnels for a moment. What really has me puzzled are the statues that were built on the property, including the half-built Greek Athenian looking shrine fountain thing. Alex's cousin sent us a link to an interesting video showing a complete 3D replica of said fountain. The video was called Behind the Gates Outdoor Temple Stage. The video was posted by a gentleman named Michael Allen Harrison. He is an American New Age musician, songwriter and pianist from Portland, Oregon. Michael is the founder and president of the Snowman Foundation. It is a non-profit organization dedicated to advocating and providing services for music education. He has performed for Bill Clinton, Al Gore and the 14th Dalai Lama. He organized the 10 Grands concert series, which is presented annually at the Arlene Schnitzer Concert Hall in Portland, Oregon. His musical career has been very professional. His works are quite remarkable, stretching from 1986 to 2016. But regardless, this video is an exact 3D rendering of the Greek fountain if it was finished. And just look at the detail on this thing, like what could it have been used for if it was built? Did the people that lived there hold some kind of ancient beliefs?
Now, what I find really strange about this fountain is that just underneath of the front of this thing, there seems to be a set of stairs that lead right directly into a pool of water that goes further underground. It seems that by the 3D recreation in these photos that I managed to scrounge up, both give credence to the assumption. I believe this staircase leads to a part of the underground tunnels, or even an entrance to the rest of the tunnels. You know, at first, I thought that this video was some kind of tribute to the Neal's property, but I feel that he is much more connected to this story, because of what I found in the description. It says, Design Vision, Tony Neal. I would like to believe that they were working together to build these beautiful structures, and that Michael may know more about the Neal property and the secrets that lie there. We have tried to contact Michael Allen Harrison on multiple occasions, but all of our calls and comments are left unanswered. Michael, if you'd like to answer any of our questions in an audio interview style, please leave us an email at liacfiles@gmail.com. What if Anthony Neal was some kind of savant? Theoretically, I mean. The type of building he was designing was pretty remarkable. It leads me to questions like, what were his motives, and why were they building such architecture? What the hell is the shrine fountain? What could it have been used for? Honestly, surface level, none of this makes sense. And my only problem is that as of right now, I have no way to contact Anthony Neal. So if you're watching this, Tony, if you'd like to contact us and let us learn anything about your incredible story and the architecture you designed, please email me at liacfiles@gmail.com. We would love to tell your story in an honest light. Now, one more thing that I would like to get off my chest. People of Oregon and travelers passing through to enjoy the Neal's property from outside their gated walls, please Do not destroy, damage, or knock over any of their statues. I want to make a point here. Sharon looks to be an elderly woman, and she takes care of the grounds as best she can, I would assume, and knocking over those lion statues in front of her gate are just going to make her and her family very upset. Tara from the channel Rant and Rave and her husband have to go do thousands of dollars worth of repairs on those beautiful brass lions. It really is a shame that she had to take them down completely because of the sheer stupidity of some of these kids that trespass on the property at night. I think if we showed them a kindness after all of this, like maybe leaving flowers if you choose to visit, or maybe an I'm sorry card for the statue. I don't know if they would open their walls for some kind of tour or anything, but the public has been pretty brutal to them. I'm sure Sharon could benefit off of something like this monetarily, but honestly, I don't know if that would ever happen. But anyways, who knows? That about wraps up our show for tonight. Thank you for watching, everyone. I do appreciate you and everyone that's been tuning in on Facebook.
I'd like to thank you all for watching this video. I'm really happy to be part of this channel and I can't wait for you to see our upcoming stuff. Also, I just quickly want to plug my social medias again. I have my own YouTube channel where I make gaming commentaries and I'm currently working on a few animations, one of which should be out in a few weeks. But again, thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next one. And remember, you are living in a conspiracy.